I'm jacked up today. I'm having such an amazing day. First of all, my hair dryer broke. That was an amazing start to my day. There's nothing better than waking up and being like, this is going to be a great day. Great day. Anyway, so I don't know what the heck's going on here today, but anyway, that's awesome. All right, we're going to roll into this in about 1 minute. I'm just going to actually make sure, Morgan, if you can't hear me, let me know, but I'm pretty sure that we're wired up and we're ready to go, so that should be good. If not, somebody should just put a message on the side and then we'll know that you can't hear me, so it would be super awkward. So what we're going to talk about today, guys, is one of my favorite topics right now, which is there are no homes out there in today's real estate market. I would say in our company, one of the hardest things that we're actually dealing with right now is actually trying to get agents to really start to see how you can find properties for your clients. The hardest thing that comes to me is when I'm hearing all the time as a business coach, you know, when we hit walls and you can't push through them, or you're not thinking outside of the box, or you're not really doing anything about that. And I have to be honest with you, it drives me nuts. Like, there's nothing worse than when I hear somebody say, oh, I'm trying to do something, and then you can't get somewhere. I'm like, I don't understand. It's just a wall. Go around it and find another solution or break that wall down. You know what? To me, there's plenty of houses out there. It's exhausting hearing all the time, I can't find houses, or I'm losing, 40, 50 offers and stuff like that. So we're going to cover, and I'm not saying that that's not legitimately true. It's just, I think what you're doing is, again, we talked about this a few months ago. In business, you're either a hunter or you're a gatherer. It's two different things that you're looking at. A lot of people out there, a lot of realtors out there right now are actually gatherers. They're just kind of sitting back waiting for MLS, or they don't really have control over what they're actually doing. Look, if you're hired to work with clients, you have to become a hunter in this market. You're not a gatherer. So either you change your mentality completely and you shift over into becoming a hunter, or you're just going to get bypassed and you're going to have a very, very quiet revenue season ahead of you in the fourth quarter. And, well, if you know anything about me, you know I like to see big revenue goals. So that's one of the things I like to push on. So we're going to talk a little bit about the creative ways that you can actually find and come up with a gatherer mentality, or a hunter mentality, sorry. We want to stay away from gatherer mentality. With the hunter mentality, the first thing you have to do, I'm going to recommend, is that you have to triage all your clients. You kind of have to look at the emergency room and say, okay, if you're in an emergency room and there's, like, let's say 40 people in the emergency room and you only have 5 doctors, that's it. So you've got to kind of walk into the emergency room and you've got to look at the 40 people in there, and you have to say, okay, let's really look. Out of all of you 40, only 5 of you are going to have your wishes come true and you're going to save your life. Okay, the rest of you, unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but you're going to have to move to the right. Okay, so here's the thing. You're really triaging who are your top priority clients. There's always top priority clients. So the first thing I ask you guys to do is really talk to your clients. And what I want you to do is just ask them and say, look, there's only 3 months left of the year. Okay, and in order for me, as we know, the market is really tight for listings, and in order for me to really make sure that I'm putting the priority where the priority needs to lay, I need to know, clients, which one of you, out of all of you, needs to be in a place, or literally is so motivated that you want to be in a place by the end of the year, or at least own a place by the end of the year. And then you're triaging. Now, if you're a buyer and you're actually watching this and you're working with a realtor, which we do get quite often, we get a lot of feedback on that. So if you're a buyer looking for a house and you're not finding it, then my best advice to you is you have to let your agent know. Let your agent know, I want to be, like, I'm top priority. I want you to know I need to be in a place in the next 90 days, or I need to find a place in the next 90 days, or I'm going to move on from you. It's very simple as that. It's very hard sometimes for buyers to express that to their clients. So you have to be okay with saying that to your agent as well, because if they're not hunting for houses for you, and normally I don't go against realtors, I'm very supportive of realtors, but there are too many realtors that are sitting around just saying, you know what, the inventory sucks. And again, it's about having a solid plan. So if you're working with a realtor and you want to ask and see, just say, listen, could you outline to me the top 5 things that you're doing to find me my property? Okay, it's simple as that. In Ottawa, there's 3,000 realtors. You have tons of choices of who you get to work with. In my opinion, if you're working with anybody in this market and trying to get into a house and there is a level of urgency, you need to ask them what they're actually doing for you. Simple as that. And I would have no issues, responding to that if I was a realtor. Sometimes you need to work together instead of always just assuming or, just kind of running these offers. Second thing I want to say is that The hardest thing that we're seeing in today's market too is this ridiculous pricing strategy. Full disclosure, I hate it. I just thought I'd say it. I hate it. I think real estate agents are getting a terrible reputation for undervaluing houses that they know are hundreds of thousands of dollars under market value. And what they've done to our market is they've depleted it, meaning that they frustrated the buyers. The buyers are tired of putting offers on properties. And this is a bit of a rant before I tell you all my ideas of finding a house. But I will say it is very frustrating to see houses that I personally know should not be valuated so low, and realtors are putting them on the market with knowing full well that this is an inappropriate time to do that. They're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking simply because they want to have their braggadocious posts telling how great they are, how they sold another house out there, or I don't know, maybe it's a strategy they're just telling their clients that they're not comfortable telling them a different strategy. But what that's done, inadvertently, it's actually affected our entire market. And what that's done is it's frustrated buyers. It's given realtors a terrible reputation, in my opinion. And I think it's a really lame pricing strategy. You know what? We could have a much more balanced market at this point if we would just price appropriately and let the market do what it's bound to do. But we've created a lot of chaos where buyers have literally stopped saying, I'm not going to shop for houses anymore because there's 14 to 20 offers. I don't know what the future holds. We are screwing it up to the point where Ontario has been entered into a red flag zone. And basically, there's no need for that. There's no need for it at all. We get it, whatever. Let's just get back to some regular pricing so we can balance out the market, or we're just going to frustrate buyers from buying. And if buyers don't buy, the sales of their houses isn't going to happen because they're not confident that they're actually going to find anything. So that's really frustrating for me. So I really think that the bigger teams control 80% of the market. So the top 20% controls 80% of the market. So I would shout out to every single top team to really lead the way and start pricing things more appropriately. Let's slow down the market a little bit so buyers can feel comfortable entering the market, and we can start taking advantage of what's out there, because there are a ton of people who own houses. We coach over 800 of the top teams. And to be honest with you, there's tons of buyers. We're hearing it all the time. Buyers have houses they want to sell. People want to be moving, but they're not, because they simply are frustrated with the processes and things that are happening. And I feel like as realtors, we're just not really doing enough that we can to slow that down a bit. But let's get back to the topic, because that's just a tiny rant that I hope a lot of people share, because we're hurting our own markets, and that's going to hurt the revenues of our businesses. So you have to be really cautious about it. All right, so let's take a look. I put down a whole bunch of stuff because everybody knows I'm a little bit outside of the box. I like outside of the box things. I like to keep it real. So there's a couple things that you really want to look at. First thing is you need a strategy. So I would say, like, come up with 10 things that are outside of the box, or 10 hunters mentality strategy. First thing you always want to do is you want to go back, canceled expired listings. Okay, canceled expired withdrawals. I don't care how long they are. They could be 3 years, 5 years. I would suggest going back long enough so that there's a motivation incentive. So if somebody had a smaller house 3 years ago, it is really painfully small 3 years later. That's why I kind of tendency to go back a little bit. I think in the urgency of time and whatnot, the more appropriate thing to do would be to take that expired canceled listings, have a VA or somebody, or even yourself if you're under leverage, and have them reach out to the original listing agents and send a message and say, hey, Mary-Anne, by the way, you have this listing at 123 Main Street. Are you still by chance in touch with those owners? If so, any chance that you can put us in touch with them and we can broker something possibly? Really try to push that. If the agent doesn't respond within 1 week, then I would say take a board, put all the expired, cancel, withdrawn in the prospective areas of your clients. This is after you've determined your top 5 clients, by the way. This is not for 50 clients. This is for your top 5. So let's hypothetically say I had clients who wanted to move to Avalon. No problem. I would take all their stuff. I would put Avalon together. I'd be like, boom, 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 cancel, expire, withdrawn. First round, I would send an email to all the realtors, any chance, blah, blah, blah. If I didn't hear back from a week, I'd put little pins on my board, come up with a list, and I'd get off my ass and I'd go there and I'd knock on the doors. It's as simple as that. I'd be like, listen, here's who I am. I did reach out to your past realtor, full disclosure. We're really desperate looking for houses. Is there any chance you're thinking of putting it back on the market at all? Okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do it in big scales. I'm not going to do it for 2. I have people come to me all the time. I did it for 3. I didn't get anywhere. Listen, I'm going to do it for like freaking massive amounts. Okay, I'm not screwing around here. If you're really serious about being a hunter, you need to hunt. That is what hunting is. Hunting is not Browsing, hunting is hunt. Get focused and do it, right? So that's the first thing I'm going to do. And again, respectfully, there's not a single person around in any city that I know of that's going to say, I had no idea we have a housing crisis right now. There's not one, okay? So when you knock on somebody's door and you have a purpose like that, I'm sorry, but they're not going to be surprised, okay? There's not going to be like, what are you doing here? I had no idea there was a lack of inventory. No, there's a massive lack of inventory, so that's a great way to do it. Simple as that. Those of you who are terrified of door knocking and really maybe want to respectfully, in British Columbia, it's it's not as embraced as it is in Ontario and stuff like that. So if you're going to do it in BC or something like that, and let's hypothetically say you're just really not comfortable with that whole aspect, then please do me a favor, have something like a QR code, something a little bit more advanced on a postcard, a QR code that really just explains and say, listen, if you go with this QR code, you'll see a video I have, that I've done where I'm really looking for video, by the way, where I really am looking for certain things for clients in this area. Show them that you're a human. Just don't leave a postcard. Be like, please go to this QR code and watch the video. Very important. Like, make it bold, don't mix it up with like, Fido and everything like that and put all sorts of things on it. Just be really specific, put the QR code out there on a postcard. You may want to have it just as a backup in case people are home anyway. Do a great video and be like, hey, it's Mary-Anne. I just want to let you know, I have 5 families looking to move to Avalon. I'm a real person. Here's the challenge I'm having. And if there's any chance, even the smallest chance that in the next 6 months to 8 months, you're even possibly considering, moving or know anybody who's moving, we have a great referral program. I am desperate to find places for these amazing families. Please reach out to me. I really would appreciate it. I have no interest in listing your house. I'm only interested in brokering a buyer deal for these amazing clients. That video alone is 10 times better than anything you could possibly do. Okay, so if you don't get somebody home, stop just leaving a little sign that says, hey, or those letters that are just terrible. What are they called? The green, orange letters or whatever they are, where it's like, I have a buyer for your house. No, do a QR code, take 20 minutes, do a beautiful video explaining your needs, showing that you're a real person, and watch the magic happen, okay? People have a bigger tendency to trust you if you're gonna do it by video. So that's a great idea with the cancel expires withdrawals. Definitely a way better idea for that. What if the home you knock is seller interested in selling but doesn't know where they would go next? Well, that's really ultimately, who cares? No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. We'll address that in a second. We'll definitely address that because that's definitely a concern, right? But at the same token too, I'm really not that's the problem that I was kind of discussing at the beginning. This ridiculous amount of price, like these agents who are listing places 100 to 200,000 under asking, deliberately doing it, they're the ones causing the problem. That's the truth. So the more that those top 20% of agents who control 80% of the market, the more that they decide to stop this as a united group and actually start listing places more appropriately, don't you understand? People are going to move. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't understand it. The more that pricing becomes balanced in a market where we stop playing games of these pricing strategies, the more you're going to see the market open up. It's very, very simple. We're just making it ridiculous and the government's going to intervene. But I will talk about that hopefully in a couple seconds. Okay, network on the top agents. So when I say network with the top agents, again, you heard me say it, the top 20% control 80% of the market. Go reach out to the top 20%. You need to get on the phone, not an email, get on the phone and call the top 20%. I know who the top 20% of listing agents in my city are. Your brokerage can give you a list of the top 20%. Pick up the phone, talk to them, tell them what you're looking for, tell them the urgency and find out their exclusive list, find out what's coming on the market. And I don't care if you have to take a 0.5% commission split difference down for that agent, give them an incentive to help you. Okay, that's ultimately what it comes down to. You're welcome. That's ultimately what it comes down to is that you're not just calling those top agents. Call up and say, listen, I'm even willing to drop down from 2.5% to 2% on commission on this and give you a 0.5% as a finder's fee for helping me. But I know very few people who will pick up a phone and reach out to the top 20%. We coach the top 20%. And most of them right now are sitting on about 20 listings at least coming on the market. And they have an even bigger inventory of if I can find and they can find, we can work together. So going back to your original question, you got to reach out to those 20%. If you have clients who if they want to move, but they can't find a property, first thing I would ask you, Show me the list of all the top 20% of agents that you've called in your prospective market that they're looking for, and have you asked them for their list? Have you asked them for the exclusive listings? And have you even talked to them and had a conversation where you've shared what you're looking for, offered an incentive to help you with a finder's fee of any type in that regards? And if you haven't, then you're not doing anything to encourage buyers to buy. Okay, you really aren't, because if we all work together, then you're going to find the answers that you're looking for those clients. There are tons of properties out there. We're in a state of limbo. It's just this ridiculous thing that we have going on right now. We're not working together, and we're not coming up with the solutions as realtors, which is why I'm going to say it's not impossible for you to find clients' houses. Okay, it's just working with the other realtors. Don't call one realtor and be like, well, I don't like the other 3 realtors. That's not the point. The point is we're all trying to help each other. So if you have buyers who are looking to buy and they have a house to sell and you call top 20%, can you not work together? Can you not do that? If we all shared our list and said, here's what I'm looking for, and we all worked together and we all started pricing properly, I think you'd see some solutions happen. So the top 20% list is a big one for me as far as that goes. And you need to ask them, what do you have coming up? How can we work together? Very important. This is also not the time where one company versus another company have to get into Armageddon together. This is where we all work together. We all have the same goal. We want to start stimulating the market. It has a very negative effect long term if we don't start doing this. So I'm very concerned about that part. Okay, next one I have. Okay, we covered the buyers videos with that. Create a contest. So a lot of us are like, get your service providers around. I'd like to give a shout out to Mel from Red Door Metro. She came up with this idea. I absolutely freaking love it. Okay, work with your service providers to have a CMA contest. So for example, many of you realtors are working with mortgage representatives. Have you had a contest where that mortgage rep, because the more they get people moving, it's win-win for everybody. Have you had a contest where you've said, hey, listen, October to November 15th. So the 15th of October to 15th of November, of course, you'd have to travel backwards in time because it's obviously the 18th, not the 15th. But if you went back in time and said, October 15th to November 15th, we're going to have a contest. And this is done by your mortgage reps, where anybody who gets their home evaluated over the next 30 days, is going to be entered into a fabulous draw for one of the best big Tim Hortons or Starbucks gift packages. I'm a coffee person, so I'm like jonesing all over any of those packages. So create a contest where you have your service providers working towards giving home evaluations through you. So basically you work in conjunction with each other. It's a great partnership. Has anybody actually done that? Right? So finder's fee. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, let's stick to the ideas, okay? Let's not get stuck. Please, guys, don't get stuck in the minutia. Like, I hear it all the time in coaching. It's like, we're giving you the ideas. You're either a person who's going to implement or you're going to question things all the time. Just implement, figure it out. So this idea here, guys, like I was saying, is that you really want to work with your mortgage representatives in this case and just have a contest like that where they're putting it out to all the people they know saying, anybody wants to do this? Let's go. Let's put it all together. Let's have it done here. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. Awesome. And they can do a whole contest based on, let's have CMA, 30 days of CMAs for this great big gift basket. What's that going to do? It's going to give you hundreds of people to follow up with. If you can follow up with people, hey, what did you think of your CMA? Excellent. Any chance you're thinking of moving? Listen, that's lead generation. So you really have to find that. And what you may find is you may find 16 places for the spring. That's fantastic. But bulk it up. If you're not doing contests are a really good thing to do. Okay, home developers. Home developers are a big one. Do you have relationships with home developers? And what I mean by that is, are you going in and do you have relationships with the sales reps there? I have great relationships with some of the sales reps in my subdivision. They're actually hilarious. I tell them they can tour my house. I have a very customized house. I did some things that are a little bit custom and different. So I'm always inviting them and I'm saying, hey guys, listen, you know what? I created this massive, I blew out the kitchen and created like this insanely large quartz kitchen countertop because I had this vision that I was actually going to cook a lot, which never happened. But whatever, it looks really good. Anyway, so I always tell them, hey guys, come on in. Anytime you want to show my house, my property, anything like that, come on in. In exchange, I help them with charities. So they do the shoebox thing. And I love the shoebox project. That's just amazing. It's a really big passion project of mine that I love for homeless women. So it's super awesome. So anyway, we work together on that. And it's a really symbiotic relationship where I can actually go back to them and I can talk to them and say, what's a home builder going to give me? Not inventory. I am looking for all the people that bought houses. Hello. If you buy a house through a home developer, you're not moving in typically for months. So where are all those people? Where are those listings? Where are they going to be? Because every home developer is selling out. So have you a good enough relationship with people where you're actually talking to people, the sales reps at these sites? Is there any programs, any incentives? Is there anything that you can, and it doesn't have to be incentivized. It's called relationship building. Go in there and ask them, look, we are desperate right now. Is there anything that we can do to work together? It would mean a lot for me. Is there anybody you have? Could you do an email broadcast? Is there anything that you can help us with? Do you have any clients? Most of those sales reps have access to 30 to 40 to 50 listings pending at any given time for people who are ready and have bought future homes with them. My subdivision alone, I think, has about 50 sitting right now, 50 home buyers who are waiting to put their houses on the market. Are you going to really tell me that you've gotten out of your car? Please don't send an email to them. Like this is about relationships too, guys. If you're a hunter, you don't capture an animal. I'm using that as like, I don't hunt, by the way, so I know nothing about this. But anyway, if you're a hunter, you're not going to capture an animal sitting on a phone behind your computer or sending an email. Okay, you're going to go get the animal by going right to the animal. Or at least that's how I think it works. I don't know. Who knows nowadays? Maybe it is like by drone or something. But anyway, the point is that get out of your, your environment, and get off your buns and go. Start building relationships with them. If they're hanging on to 40 to 50 closings at any given time, who are they giving their business to? And even if they have their own brokerage, that's not their job necessarily. So get out there and build relationships with them. That's a key one. Any of the discount service providers as well, make sure you work with them too. That's another one that I really work with as well. Okay, work every Facebook neighborhood site. Are you engaging with those Facebook neighborhoods? In my community, there is a Facebook site. Nobody ever comes on it as far as that goes. I don't think they would block you, but necessarily you can say, hey, listen, with your community association, I'm willing to, for this, can I do a paid advertising? They'll be like, what does that mean? Well, if I give you $500 to your local community, can I pay for advertising on your Facebook page? Have you ever offered that? Because the only thing I get back all the time is the administrator said I can't post anything. Okay, well, do they not need money? We have a skating rink that we build every winter. And so I was looking at it and I go, well, they can use, my community association can sure use a Tim Hortons night, a $500. It's advertising. So why don't you just offer to pay for advertising on their Facebook sites? If you've never done it, don't knock it. Okay, it's out of the box idea time. You guys know that this is my jam. This is what I like. So go to the Facebook groups and offer them paid advertising. We have budgets. They've taken the time to do a great Facebook group. Those are the communities that you're looking for. Figure out a solution. Can I do a paid advertising for a webinar about the real estate market and advertise it on your site? Can I do paid advertising saying, here's the top 3 needs that we're looking for in your area? Can I do a thing offering home evaluations? Or can I do a seminar with a mortgage broker and pay for advertising of that on your community site? What are your solutions? You remember what I said at the beginning? There's a wall, you go through it. You don't sit around, you go through it. Stuff like that, okay? This is a touchy one, but whatever. I'm saying it anyway. 2 things, divorce lawyers and senior residences. Okay, now senior residences were shut down, pretty much from entry points for a long time. Do you have relationships and are you doing senior seminars with any of the senior residences that are there? I have an amazing client, Sarah. She's absolutely awesome. Let me tell you something. That girl hammers out 40 to 50 listings almost every single month. She's one of the top GTA realtors in existence. And she has this brilliant system where she actually builds relationships with all the owners or all the managers and staffing at the seniors residences. And once a month they go in and they do this great thing for all the seniors who are looking to do that transition, and they're full service. So they offer services, they great value, they have lunches, the whole 9 yards. Well, who do you think is going to get the listing business? There's a reason she has so many listings. Not just because she's fabulous, good looking, successful, awesome, rocks it like you've never seen before, and probably has the biggest heart of gold, but she's actually super creative and super talented. So she has these relationships, and they're longer term relationships. So that's a great resource, because most of the time people don't just go. There's about a 3 to 6 month waiting period to get into some of these senior residences. And in that time period, they're looking for real estate agents and they're looking for ways, and they're not looking to buy houses. They're simply simply selling. So that is the ideal client too, which is really super awesome. So you can target senior resident, or not senior residences, you can target senior areas and do the same thing too. But the relationships one-on-one with the directors is really what you're looking at. And then another one that you really want to look at, unfortunately, the rates of divorces have gone really high since COVID. I'm not sure why. I can't imagine spending every day, night, and waking hour during a pandemic would ever prompt more divorces. But anyway, sorry, but honestly, a lot of people had their come to light moment, I guess you could call it. And anyway, long story short, what's your relationship like with those divorce lawyers? Do you have a package that you're working with them saying, okay, you know what? We know that this is a really hard market and all that kind of great stuff. What can we do to actually get down there? So it's really important that you work with the divorce lawyers too. And again, it's about program systems and all that kind of stuff, right? So finder's fee, Emily said, finder's fee, are you offering them a referral to be, because you think they're buyer before it hits the market to let you bring your buyer in? I'm offering them, so for the finder's fee, I'm just offering them a discount on commission. If they were going to list a place, if they were paying 2.5% out, I'm saying, keep half a percentage of that for yourself prior to hitting the market, correct? Prior to hitting the market, and most of the time, here's the thing that I get really interested about, is a lot of people, when I was looking for a waterfront property, sorry, I just have to keep track of time. So when I was looking for a waterfront property, which technically I got, I'm backing onto water, so that's okay. And it's not really water, it's like a creek, but whatever, I'm going to call it back onto waterfront. That's my jam. I'm doing it. So anyway, so long story short, when I was offering that, it was just as competitive a market for waterfront properties. And everybody kept saying, well, they're not going to put a waterfront property on the market just for, they're not going to not put it on the market for me because they can get more money. And I said, well, not everybody's in that scenario. I mean, I know tons of people who are getting divorced right now, and they're doing private deals because they don't want to advertise it. They're, members of community. They don't want it to be public. There are tons of people who would rather broker, and they have a certain price, and the price might not be that inflated. And yes, does it happen? Yes, I know it's happening all the time. I mean, we work with 800 teams, so I'm a pretty good resource for that kind of stuff. So I would say that that's a pretty good one. That, in my own opinion, and targeting snowbirds. By the way, now that Florida's opened back up, a lot of the snowbirds are going to go back to that. So you may want to have conversations with those guys too, right? So the point is that but it's a great question, Emily. I think that the biggest thing is, guys, is that what you've heard today, these are all out of the box ideas. Okay, and the point is you want to go from hunter and gatherer mentality and stay in hunter mentality. Have a plan and a system. The biggest thing that I see is that a lot of people will do one thing and they'll do it half-assed. And if you really want the best results, I mean, you're talking massive amounts of commission checks. And also equally, if you're a buyer and you're working with your agent and you're not seeing this kind of ideas come up, then you have to find an agent who will hunt for you, because until the top 20% of the realtors out there start controlling a little bit of the pricing of the market, this could continue for a while. So it's not impossible to find houses. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of strategy. And you could be working with a realtor who is non-coached or non-growth oriented, and they're just sitting around waiting for MLS. So if you're only seeing places on MLS and you're not hearing your agent do anything else, then I would definitely question whether or not you're working with hunter-gatherer. And I'm very, very big on that. There are certain markets where you need certain type of agents, and this is a market where you really need to be a hunter. You need to find those houses for your clients, and do not buy into the fact that the winter is slow. The winter can be very busy when you're finding houses, okay? So good luck. Hope you loved it, and I hope you got a lot of ideas. So keep me posted. Let me know what works, what doesn't work, and I'm always around for questions. Just ping me up. Bye for now.